2 months ago, while the world was up in arms about the Canon EOS R, Fujifilm quietly released one of the most intriguing cameras of the year. Now that the dust has pretty much settled on 2018, it's time to revisit the X-T3 and find out, is it still one of the best video cameras currently on the market? Let's find out. What's up everyone, I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. So darn, right? This has been the year of the video cameras. From the A7 III to the X-T3 to the Z6, I feel like each camera I've gotten a hold of has been better and better. It is such an awesome time to be recording video or to be doing this online video content stuff. First off, I do want to thank my friends over at B&H Photo for sending me the X-T3 to make a video about. If you'd like to get your very own handheld video production studio, there will be links in the description below. In the time since the Fuji was released, Nikon flipped my world upside down with the Z6, but Fuji really kind of reigns king among the video cameras with some very key specs. And what a great segue! We're going to cover some basic specs in case you forgot, or if this is your very first time seeing the X-T3, so let's all get on the same page. And quick disclaimer, and I'm serious about this by the way, I get lots of comments on why I don't talk more about photography. Well, surprise, I'm not a photographer, nor am I a professional videographer. You know, I make home videos and these YouTube videos, so those are the specs that I cover, and those are really the only specs that I'm concerned about. The Fuji X-T3 has a 26 megapixel APS-C size BSI X-Trans CMOS sensor, 425 point hybrid autofocus system. It has improved autofocus tracking with face and eye detection in video mode. It does not have a fully articulating touchscreen, unfortunately. It can do 10-bit 420 H.265 internal, or it can do 422 10-bit 4K 60 through HDMI if you're recording on something like the Ninja 5 right now. Now that is legitimately shocking. And it has dual UHS 2 SD card slots. Something you might have noticed that I didn't say was stabilization. And that really is one of the major weaknesses of the X-T3, is there isn't anything resembling stability about this camera, except, you know, a few of the Fuji OIS lenses that, you know, they can stabilize a little bit. Physically, this camera is still amazing to me. This time around, I did get the battery grip, which we'll talk more about here in a second, but both together just feel perfect. It's like the X-T3 is only half a camera without the grip. I mean, it's kind of like the 1DX Mark II, right? Where it's just like the grip and the camera they should be integrated as one. But it's got great weather sealing and still has one of my favorite methods of controlling the camera with all of these manual dials on top. I mean, who needs a digital screen? I need a digital screen. When you can physically change the settings to exactly what you want from on top of the camera. It's legitimately amazing to this day. Also, from somebody that's been using a lot of full frame and even a cinema camera there for a while, the size of this guy is just about perfect. It is small and light enough to be moved anywhere, but it's also big enough that it doesn't just feel like, it feels substantial, and that really is important when you start talking about using handheld video cameras. Now, something that trumps almost every other camera out there right now is its dual UHS 2 card slots on the side, and that should make the internet happy, right? Because even when I have dual card slots like right now, I only end up using one anyway, but the internet sure likes to make a fuss about those card slots. Well, congratulations internet, dual card slots. But when we talk about just me, my favorite feature to this day remains this side port door. On some cameras, the A7 III, if you want to use your ports, it becomes a huge mess that barely works to get everything connected. But this is just, you just take it off. There you go. You don't have that problem on the X-T3 because boom, it just comes off. Every single camera on the market needs to have this going forward. Camera manufacturers, get on it. Let's just all agree on this as camera enthusiasts. I'll give up an SD card slot. I'll go back to single card slots if you give me the ability to have my mic, audio, power, everything just like so easily accessible. Yes, this forever. The rear LCD screen is only a tilting quasi touchscreen instead of a fully articulating touchscreen, which kind of stinks, but that seems to be the wave of the future, you know, the non-fully articulating screen, so we may as well just get used to bringing monitors with us. I know I have certainly gotten used to it. And lastly, let's talk about the battery grip. Now, I rarely get battery grips for my cameras, but these new ones are really something else. Now, I do run a live show every Saturday, if you want to check it out, Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and if I try to do it off the internal battery, they generally die before it's done. The whole reason I got the battery grip was there's a DCI input right here, and it comes with the included cable. So you can just basically take this, plug this sucker into the wall, and you are good as long as you know, pay your power bill. Pay your power bill, guys. But that's enough talking at the camera. Let's see how it still compares against the 3 most important camera comparisons consecutively considered. We call it the Quad C here at the Everyday Dad Studios. That's not a real thing. First up, image quality. Without any hyperbole, and while I'm a camera fanboy in general, I've never specifically been a Fuji fanboy. The image quality is stunning. Fuji is not messing around when it comes to this system. Whereas everybody else is trying to move into bigger sensors, bigger lenses, bigger, Fuji says APS-C is pretty good. And yes, it can do 4K 60. 4K 60 in my mind is about the most overrated thing this year in cameras. It's right up there with the dolly zoom, but even its normal people frame rates just work, and they work well, and you get a lot of options on recording codecs and bit rates. Now, I've always been a very big fan of APS-C censored cameras. I think it's just about the perfect size to get you some key benefits. It's easier to get a shallower depth of field if that's what you're looking for, and it works better in low light than most Micro Four Thirds sensors. But it's also not so big and doesn't require as big of lenses as the full frame monsters that, are taking over the camera world. Not only that, but the X-T3 has awesome autofocus and the ability to do 422 10-bit through HDMI, all at the price of $1,500, and that's a revolution. Like, no kidding, find me another camera that can do the same for under $2,000. I said with awesome autofocus, which, yes, is important for online content creators. I'm sorry, it is. But don't take my word for it. Let's hop outside and do the quick video/vlogging test.
Okay, welcome to the video/vlogging test of the Fuji X-T3 Revisit. So I really like this camera. We mentioned it a bunch in the earlier parts of the video, but this is a phenomenal camera for a phenomenal price and a phenomenal size. So without too much ado, to the vlogging test. We kind of got to put some stuff on it first, right? I hear tripods and lenses are good when you want to do like video test, right? So that's the strongest point of the X-T3 in my opinion. Yes, I've heard people say that it does great stills. I'm not a stills guy. I don't really like photography that much. The only reason I ever take pictures in my life is to do the thumbnails for the YouTube videos. So I guess it does good stills. People talk about it. But the video quality on this darn thing is amazing. And not only is the video quality good, but it's got recording specs and recording abilities that make like pro cameras like blush with envy. So we're on. Hey, there's us. Okay, vlogging, whoop, let's hit record. Vlogging test, begin. Whoa, okay, and this is the vlogging test of the Fuji X-T3. Now you'll probably notice we're in a little bit of a different setting this time. I wanted to switch it up a little bit instead of like the woods or the park. We're at a tennis court now. I don't play tennis, but it did a couple things really right. One, it gave us a nice wide open field because it's December and ain't nobody playing tennis right now. And two, it made it really easy. You probably can't see it back in there, but since these videos are getting more and more complicated, I need more and more gear to do it. So I have a Pelican case to carry that all around. Well, if you remember from last week, this wrist, you can't see because it's under a glove, is still really darn sprained. So it's hard to do all this stuff. And it was really easy because we're on a tennis court. But some of the negatives that we have already talked about the X-T3, you're probably seeing right now. There is no stabilization built into this camera. It is a fixed sensor. Now that could be good or bad depending on what you want to use it for. Some professional productions do not like stabilization built into their cameras because they want to direct where the sensor is going to be. They don't want a camera to decide that for them. The lens has OIS built into it, optical image stabilization, so that should be making it a little bit better. And the Fuji lenses are pretty good about stabilization from what I've seen. The audio you're hearing is, still being recorded over on the Z6 right there. That guy. Hey, I didn't really plan out where I was gonna be because, the sun's over there for the best, lighting. And I put it in this corner and we were gonna do it this way, but then it looked terrible. So, planning. Sometimes you need to plan better, everyday dad. I do. This camera's so light. It's so good. I like the little tally light. Here, I'll go show you. Normally, we do the vlogging test entirely on the camera we're vlogging on, but do you see that tally light? Like, that is such a simple thing, but it's one of the best features about the X-T3. On the Nikon Z6, on the Sony, on any camera without a flip screen, you can't really ever tell if you're recording. Sometimes you'll hear the beep on like a Sony A7 III, you'll boop, but you might not hear it or it might stop and you don't know it. If this light's on, you can set it to show you that you're recording, which is super, super useful. Hey guys. Okay, back to the video. Ow! That was a terrible idea.
Okay, and this is the indoor/studio test of the Fuji X-T3. So I have it set up. This is the exact same lighting, the exact same everything that you just saw on the Sony A7 III. And we've got it basically set to straight auto. Now I did turn the sharpening down a little bit. I was finding that the X-T3 footage like straight out of the camera was very, very sharp. So yeah, this is the image quality. We have the audio going straight through the XLR boom mic, everything set up the exact same way. So if you are planning on using the Fuji XT3 as your indoor studio camera, this is exactly what you can expect to see. Again, I really like the little tally light because I know that it's recording right now. I really like the image quality as the APS-C sensor. I really like APS-C sensors for like indoor studio stuff. Like Micro Four Thirds are about as small as I'd go indoor stuff, so APS-C works really well. The kit lens is really great. You're not gonna get as much, you know, of a shallow depth of field if that's what you're looking for when you do things like use a kit lens. I think we're like 3.5 right now because of the zoom. But yeah, this is the image quality you can expect. Back to the video. And we're back. Look, the image quality is great, and if you don't think so, I just have no words for you. Next up is the most important aspect of cameras for the YouTuber / online content creator.
Fiddliness. So fiddliness is the most important aspect of cameras to me. They should be to every online creator because it's all about creating consistently good, reliably to get content. The Fuji XT3 crushes fiddliness. So fiddliness is in two parts in my brain, right? It's in two parts in my brain. One is how easy is it to set up the camera to get what you want out of it. And we already talked about this, and we've talked about this a lot, but see all these buttons? These are all physical buttons where I can set the shutter speed, the ISO, and the aperture all from the body. And then when I want to look, hey, I see what it all is. Do I want it in auto real quick? Click, click, click. It's an auto. I mean, it's so easy to use. The ding that I will give for usability in fiddliness on the XT3 is there is just so many recording features in this thing. If you don't know exactly what you want, it is easy to get lost in the menus. They're great. I like all of the functions that you can do, all the codecs, all the recording modes, but if you don't know what you're doing in video, it is easy to get lost in this thing. However, fiddliness is more than just that. It is also, once you hit record, how easy is it to get the footage going on right now. So the recording on right now is the Nikon Z6 with an Atomos Ninja V. There you guys are. There's the setup. Hey everybody, hey! But that's a pretty fiddly setup to get going, right? I mean, this is generally what I use in all of my videos is the Ninja V hooked up to something, and that's fiddly to set up. But once you hit record, how easy is it to get the footage you want out of it? So like right now, I can see that I'm in focus, I can see that the audio is good, even though I'm like 5 feet away from the camera because we're like as far as this 70 kit lens could get me. But all of that stuff I can see from while I'm recording. And that's, like we said already, like the tally light, the great autofocus in the XT3, the incredible color, all of the great things, how small it is. Like this is an incredible camera for fiddliness after you hit record too. Like it is shockingly, shockingly good. I mean, for the price and the features you get out of this thing, there's no other camera on the market that can do what this thing can do until you get up to, so I made a video saying that the Z6 is like the best camera you can get until you get to 30 grand, right? And I stand by that. There's not a lot of other cameras that can do what the Z6 can do. The XT3 has features in it that you can't get until you get to like 8 and 9 grand cameras. Like this does 4K 60, APS-C size sensor, awesome autofocus. What else does that? The Canon C200, which I don't have anymore, but when I did have it, it's a $7,500 camera or $8,500 if you get the kit lens. This does the same things. I mean, it doesn't have built-in ND, unfortunately, but it's so good. Like, I cannot believe, and we're gonna talk about this more on Wednesday when we compare these two cameras, that like the two best video cameras that I like most out of the year is a Fuji and a Nikon. What? But yeah, I have no problems recommending this for fiddliness. Back to the video.
Okay, third time we're back. Third time we're back is the charm, or was that the second? How many times I lost count. However many times we're back. And last and certainly not least, as we've seen in some other recent cameras, the ecosystem. We've already covered some of this today as we talk about the battery grip, which totally makes this a more reasonable camera for me, but this body, while great, only gets you so far. Without a robust ecosystem of lenses and accessories, you know, like this battery grip, it's a really cool mantelpiece. Let's just put it on the mantelpiece, right? It's on the mantle. You can't see it over there. It's like these mantelpieces up there. You know, you gotta have all the accessories to make it work, and the Fuji line is actually pretty stacked. It's got some of the best lenses on the market, cage support, and again, I'm just in darn love with this battery grip. It completes the camera. That's the third time I've mentioned that. Basically, if you want to get this but enhance it, there is a path to upgrade. You aren't trapped with a new lens mount minimal ecosystem. Huh? That's topical, right? So what, right? So should you get a Fuji XT3? Absolutely. Absolutely. I have zero issues recommending the X-T3. In fact, it might be the best video camera released in 2018. It's got the specs, the physical body, the ease of use, the image quality. It's quite literally got it all, except stabilization. But if you are like me and keep your cameras mainly on a tripod, slider, gimbal, etc., I'm telling you, this is a fantastic camera. Fuji really went from something I have never really even considered to quickly getting my attention as an awesome video company. Thanks for watching.